This piece of history is proudly supported by the Museum of Vancouver. Vancouver's story begins here. Welcome back to the show. We're here in the basement of the Museum of Vancouver where they keep all of the amazing stuff. This is Vivian. She's got some stuff to show us. What have you got?
Hi, Bob. So I have a plastic bullet that was used and shot in 1994 at a riot that took place shortly after the Game 7 Stanley Cup final. Canucks lost against the New York Rangers.
There you go. The first riot.
Hockey riot.
The first Canucks riot.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
correct.
so what is the deal? How does it work?
So how
How'd
it
you
came to
get
be
it?
here, exactly. So there was a photographer who was off duty, but had his camera, so started, to take pictures, and that was just at his feet. So he picked it up, corner of Robson and Butte, and he remembers clearly seeing this young man who had just been hurt, and he had lifted his shirt to show him, and quickly it had this huge bruise, 8-inch diameter bruise. And the photographer thought of donating it to the museum as for a memento of an event that we don't really like to talk about, but we need to remember.
They broke a bunch of windows, the rioters, and then the city.
So those boards were there to protect, smashed, retailers asked for protection. So those boards were put, plywoods all over Georgia Street. But something remarkable happened the morning after, right? So kind of a spontaneous move. People wanted to do something. They all came with their garbage bag, brooms, and cleaned up the street. So it felt like, people felt they had to take actions, and they did. The same people started writing notes on those boards. It became this kind of canvas where people shared their disbelief, their anger, their apologies, and eventually, in the same day and days to come after, people came to see the boards and add their words to it. So it became this huge kind of mural, and people were reading and reflecting, and that became I still remember listening to this radio show where you have call-ins, right? And people were saying the Museum of Vancouver has to collect those, and we absolutely did. We acquired 30 plus of them, and they are a great way to remember how, after rupture, people decide to reach, to be in community and connect and do something, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's important that we keep these and we keep that memory of that event alive. As well as just the whole story of it all. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Your name might be on this board if you were in Vancouver in 2011 and you were a Canucks fan. Maybe you didn't even have to be a Canucks fan, but come down to the Museum of Vancouver. These are not on display right now, but they have all sorts of other interesting things here. It is the place where Vancouver's stories are told. And now you know. That's the show for this week. Big thanks to Kat Jamie, MC Hammer, everybody at the Museum of Vancouver, show director Derek Wong, roving reporter Nina Savage, editor Arav, and everybody at employee-owned CHEK Media. Follow me on social media for more stories, and check out my Now You Know BC Almanac at bcbob.ca. You can buy copies there for $25 and subscribe to my newsletter where I do regular giveaways for this very digest. And of course, I'll see you here on CHEK next week when I'll tell you more stories about this great province of ours. And Now You Know BC.